Hey English learners, welcome back. I am Ananya. Have you come across the sentences like I will help or I would help? And you think which one is correct or when to use will and would? Today we're going to solve one of the most confusing grammar problems, the difference between will and would. Now these two words may look similar, but they are not interchangeable. They follow different grammar rules, express different time frames, and show different attitudes. So come on, let's get started. In today's lesson, we will learn how will and would are different, where learners go wrong, that is the common mistakes they make, and how to choose the right one in sentences. First, let's understand the basics. Real versus imaginary situations. Now, will is used when we are talking about something real, definite, or expected to happen in the future. It's like high level of certainty. Whereas would is used when you're talking about something imaginary, hypothetical, something that's there in your mind. It's also used for being polite or uncertain. I hope you got the basic difference between will and would. In fact, I had loaded separate lessons on uses of will and would, where I have explained all their uses. Do watch them. The link is in the description. Now let's understand the use of will and would with some situations. First, offering help. For example, I will help you with your homework. Now this is more direct, confident, and likely to happen. It's more like a promise. But if I say, I would help you, but I'm already late. Now here, I'm willing to help, but it's not going to happen. It's just imaginary. Did you notice the difference? Will is more like a promise, but would is imaginary because it's not going to happen. Here's one more example. I will pick you up at 6. Now this is a definite plan. Whereas if I say, I would pick you up if I had a car. Now this is a hypothetical situation. Do I have a car or does he or she has a car? No, they don't have a car. So it's an imaginary thought. Let's move on to the next situation. Future plan versus imagined plan. Example, she will join us later. Now this is a planned or expected action in the real world. It's sure that she's going to join us. But if I say she would join us if she were free. She's not free. It's just imaginary or hypothetical. Here's one more example. He will start working next week. It's a real scheduled plan, right? It's a plan and it's sure to happen. But if I say he would start working if he got the job. Now, he hasn't got the job yet. It's conditional. So we use would in conditional sentences. If this will happen, only then this is going to happen. And again, I have explained the different uses of would and also I've covered the use of would in second conditional, third conditional sentences. There's a detailed lesson for this. If you haven't watched this, again, the link is in the description. Do watch that. It will clear your doubts and you'll also understand the grammatical structure of how to use would. Because in this lesson, we're only covering contrast between will and would. Now, situation number 3. From the present versus from the past. Take a look at this example. I think it will rain tomorrow. It's a current prediction. Possibly I can see clouds getting collected in the sky. And I say, I think it will rain tomorrow. It's more likely to happen. But if the same thing I'm saying the next day, I would say, I thought it would rain tomorrow. See, the idea is the same. But now I'm reporting what I said yesterday. I hope you got the difference. Again, this particular concept I had covered in my lesson, all the uses of would. Do watch that lesson. It's a very useful lesson. Here's one more example. We hope she will win the match. So it's a hope in the present for the future. But if I say, we hoped she would win the match. Now this is a past hope. I'm reporting what I said earlier. I hope you got the difference. Now let's look at situation number 4. Being polite versus direct. If I say, will you close the window? Now this sounds more direct, although it's a request, but it sounds more direct. But if I say, would you mind closing the window? This sounds much more polite, formal, and it's often used in polite conversations. Here's one more example. Will you help me with the luggage? It's a straightforward request. Although it's a request, but it's straightforward, it's direct. But if I say, would you be able to help me with the luggage? This has got a more respectful tone, and especially when you say this to a stranger, would is the right choice to make, right? So would will help you to sound more polite in English. So these were 4 situations where we compared the use of will and would. Now let's understand common mistakes that English learners make. Mistake number 1, talking about imaginary situations. Take a look at this sentence. If I have more time, I will travel. Do you have the time? Well, you don't have the time, right? And you cannot travel. It's just imaginary. So in imaginary situations, we use had and would. If I had more time, I would travel. We are imagining a situation that isn't real. So would is correct and not will. And also remember, we do not use have, we use had. Here's one more example. If I win the lottery, I will buy a mansion. If I won the lottery, I would buy a mansion. Because again, it's imaginary. It's not a real plan. Now, mistake number 2 with reported speech. He said he will call me. The correct sentence is, he said he would call me. See, the reporting verb in the past is said. So we also shift will to would. Again, this particular concept I had covered in detail in my lesson, All Uses of Would. Do watch that lesson. They promised they will come early. They promised they would come early. Again, in reported speech, we batch shift the tense. Will becomes would. And why do we do that? Because we want to keep the grammar consistent, time consistent. Now, mistake number 3, being too direct. Will you open the door? Would you please open the door? As we learned earlier, would helps us to sound more respectful, and it sounds more softer when you request something. Here's one more example. Will you explain that again? More polite would be, would you mind explaining that again? And again, would you mind is an English collocation which is used when you want to request something politely, right? So use would when asking something politely, especially in professional settings. All right, that's all for today. Now let's test your understanding. It's quiz time. You have 4 questions on your screen. What you have to do is, in the blank, you have to either fill will or would. You can pause the video here or take a screenshot and write your answers in the comments. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson and understood where to use will and would. If you want more such interesting grammar lessons, do let me know in the comments. I'm going to see you soon with another great English lesson. Until then, as usual, keep learning and keep practicing English. Bye for now.